Hi, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COOs, and business owners share strategies for better success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And we're going to get right to our guest today. And with question number 1, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, my name is Matt Franklin, and I have a small video production company that I've been running since 2006. And I started that when Google made the announcement that they were going to buy YouTube for $1.65 billion. That very day, I put in my letter of resignation to my boss because I thought if I start a video production company, video is going to be a big deal. And I've never looked back. I also do some product development. In fact, I developed a little posture correction device that landed me on Shark Tank a few years back. That has been a fun little departure. And I also have developed a couple other products in the process. And so I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur.
Which is awesome and had some great success. And like you said, video has become big and it continues to be big. So
most definitely.
So with all of that, what's the best thing about being a business leader?
Well, for me as an entrepreneur, really the best thing is freedom. If I don't want to do something, generally I'm not forced. If I have a client that is unreasonable, I can fire that client. If as you can see, I'm a mess. I haven't had a haircut since COVID started. Because I am an entrepreneur, I haven't had to get a haircut since COVID started. Essentially what it comes down to me is freedom to make my own decisions and to decide my own fate and choose my own destiny. And I never had that when I was working a job. I was always kind of beholden to my boss, beholden to my coworkers, beholden to my company. And now I plot my own course, and that's a beautiful, beautiful feeling.
And hopefully a lot happier,
Absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on that and the success.
Thank you.
So question number 3, I hear from other business leaders, a lot of times their people strategy can be more challenging than their actual business strategy in running their business. Your thoughts?
Well, I would agree with that statement 1,000%. I have had business relationships, whether it's employees, whether it's coworkers who I was managing, whether it's actual business partners, or whether it's people above me that have provided interpersonal challenges. And all I can say is that after managing a team of about 12 people during the .com era, I made the decision that was not something that I'm skilled at, and I decided I was never going to manage people again. It didn't work out. I've ended up having employees, and I've ended up managing people, but I made the determination that I'm not good at it, and that the best thing that I can do is have the people that I'm working with like me. If you have people below you who like you and respect you, they'll go to battle for you. And if they don't like you, they will not help you, and they won't lift a finger to make your life better. So step 1 is to forge strong relationships with those people. And then the last thing I would say on this question would be hire fast, fire faster.
Very good. And that's very true. There's a big difference between the productivity of an employee that's not engaged and just there for a paycheck versus an employee that's engaged and catches the vision and likes what they're doing or likes the company or the owner and things like that.
Absolutely. Those are 2 totally different worlds. And having somebody who's unengaged is a constant source of stress and anguish.
Well said. All right. Question number 4. What strategy would you like to share with other business leaders?
Well, this kind of would be an extension on the interpersonal relationships. When I set out to start my own business, I decided that I am going to be the person that people like and the person that people can depend on. I'm always going to be on time. I'm going to answer your emails within 12 hours, hopefully within 1 hour. And I'm going to have what Napoleon Hill calls a pleasing personality, because I believe that whether it's somebody that's working for you, whether it's a client, whether it's a business partner, if you are good with people and if you can make them comfortable and make them feel important and forge a strong relationship with them, then it's going to end up with a fruitful business relationship. And as somebody who's had a video production company, I've had clients fly me to India to do a 4-hour interview. I've had a client fly me to Germany, and I know there are cameramen in Germany, and I know there are cameramen in Japan, but yet They flew me from Portland, Oregon to Japan to shoot an interview for one day. And that was not a result because of me being a great cameraman. It was a result of them knowing that I get the job done and that I'm reasonably fun to travel with.
That is a great testament of how successful and how, the reputation really follows you. They've either heard of you from somewhere or they've liked you in the past, something that they want to work with you and continue to work with you.
Yep. It's worked out great.
And, the reference to Napoleon Hill, it's amazing to me that, how much he got right, that 70, 80 years later, we still use a lot of what he's taught.
Oh, absolutely. And I read that book probably, the Think and Grow Rich. I read it probably every 3 years again, just to pound those concepts into my skull, because I truly believe they are timeless.
Right. Very good. A lot of great advice and strategy there. All right. Question number 5. What other successful business owners or CEOs like yourself would you like to maybe do a shout out to or acknowledge, or you think would be good on the podcast?
I thought about this, and I've in my entrepreneurial journey, I've met a lot of really, really smart people, but a gentleman that I just met who lives in Thailand, his name's Andrew Stotz, Stotz, and he interviewed me for his podcast that's called My Worst Investment Ever. And I highly recommend listening to Andrew's podcast, because you would think it's negative, like people talking about, hey, I lost all my money, but it's really about the lessons that we learn by making errors in judgment and being in on bad investments. So I find his podcast fascinating, and he is a person who embodies success and kind of steering his own ship, because he decided, hey, I want to live in Thailand. So he moved there, I think like 30 years ago, and he is having a successful consulting business. I think he has a coffee company too. He's just just a dynamite person and a total gentleman.
That's really cool. But, I like your comment specifically about, you would see that as a failure, but really it's the learning process. And going back to question 3, you were talking about how part of the process that led you to success is also learning, hey, certain skills are not my wheelhouse. And, I need to focus on the skills that I have and that I'm best at. And
absolutely,
whether that's a product development or a company development, it goes the same. So.
Yep. So I would definitely recommend listening to Andrew's podcast, My Worst Investment Ever.
Well, great. We'll have to maybe see if he's available as well.
Oh, I would. I can connect you with him. He's a great guy, a fascinating person.
Great. All right. So question number 6, just kind of a final fun question. Tell me about one of your favorite past bosses.
Well, my last boss, the gentleman who I gave my resignation to back in 2006, he was my best boss. His name's Larry Everson. He works for Siemens out of Germany. They used to be, the company was called Mentor Graphics, and Siemens bought them out. But Larry was a great boss, and he and I have gone on to do a couple of side projects, developing products. And he's a fascinating guy and is very smart. And we both share the same, really what you might call another negative trait, is that we develop these products. We spend a lot of time putting together these great ideas. We've done a couple of Kickstarters, and we get the product to completion. We get it manufactured, and then we're on to something else, and the product just languishes because we get bored easily and we're on to the next thing. So, but he's a great guy, and I have infinite respect for Larry Everson.
Well, it sounds like he must have been a great boss if you were willing to partner with him afterwards. So.
Yes, I was. Yeah, and he was awesome to work with.
Well, great. I love that story. All right. It has been great having you on today. Before we go, can you tell people how they might be able to link up with you?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, Matt Franklin in Portland. I'm easy to find. I also have a new podcast called The Rogue Retirement Lounge, where I talk to self-employed people about retirement planning, because I have found that among my network of self-employed friends and colleagues, we are very bad at retirement planning and investing, and that happens to be my obsession. So I decided, heck, I'm going to start a podcast, and it's called The Rogue Retirement Lounge, and it's available anywhere podcasts are seen or heard.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully everybody will check that out as well. So again, appreciate you being here, and we wish you continued success. And this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast. And for more insights and to follow us, you can follow us at Weaver Business Coaching, find us on LinkedIn, and of course, listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. And we wish you all the best success.
Thanks, Keith.